You are listening to Studio Sessions on Channel 20. My name is Matt Maisel, and the man you are hearing from right now is Dylan Madar. Smooth guitar playing. That's some really special stuff that you got going on.
Thank you.
Welcome into the studio. Where did your enjoyment, passion for playing guitar come from? What were your earliest influences?
I mean, there's a couple like flashes of memories. My older brother had played, so I kind of had seen him messing around, and that seemed fun. But also, dad and mom and grandparents and stuff were showing me music, and just kind of seemed like I saw a couple guys playing it on a video one time. I was like, that seemed like Leonard Skinner, for example, playing a huge festival. Those guys doing Freebird as like a 5-year-old, that looks like the coolest thing, you know. To me, that's what it was.
To people now, like, oh, Freebird is cliche, but to a 5-year-old, it's the coolest thing imaginable.
Oh, yeah, and I still want like every one of those guitars I saw at that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so there's a memory there, but also it just kind of, it was something that I wanted to do for years and years and years, and then finally got the guitar and started into it.
But it started with family. Family was the one that introduced you to begin
I
with.
probably wouldn't have been able to do it without them, for sure.
Was it the guitar? Was it just like seeing those Southern rock gods and what they used to do?
Definitely part of that, and the blues guys and the the classic rock stuff, but also around 12 I started getting into like rockabilly and Chet Atkins and older kind of music, the 50s rock and roll and stuff like that too. So
when did you kind of start to realize like your potential that you could do some crazy things with the guitar?
Well, it started as that's something I'll never be able to do. And then eventually, I guess, without getting too in depth, it got to a point where I was sick of my own playing and I needed something to get over that. So then I started looking at all these mountains. There's a couple songs out there, like Clap is one of them for me. A couple more that I might play and I will play. One of them also being Jerry's Breakdown. Probably won't hear that today because you need accompaniment. But there's a couple tunes you could look up and go, oh wow, that's a different thing altogether. So starting to learn that, then it started to go, oh. And once my thumb started doing the thing, practicing on a song called Freight Train. It's a really old song. Once my thumb got the thing, and I'll show you what that is. I'll talk a little bit about that. It was game over from there. Now I can I can pretty much pick up any Travis Picking song.
I mean, you can tell when you're playing, the eyes start to close, you kind of get lost in the melody, so to speak. What is that moment like for when you're really just letting the fingers go? It's all muscle memory at that point.
Yeah, muscle memory is a way of saying it. You're most likely not thinking.
You're just going.
And typically when you're not thinking, the good stuff comes out. That's when the creativity is kind of just in line with what you're doing. And I think that's kind of what all of us musicians want to be doing all the time, is kind of getting out of our own way and letting whatever it is come out of the instrument.
Do you go into a song with just like, here's a skeleton of how this song's going to go, and then I'm just going to fill in the middle parts with kind of wherever this takes me?
I think that depends on what role I'm playing in the song, because I do a lot of studio work around Harrisburg, Rock Mill. Those guys are great. They call me all the time for stuff. But I also play a lead guitar in a band. I also do fingerstyle acoustic stuff. So, yeah, they almost always start with these are the chords, and this is the verse, bridge, chorus situation. But yeah, then you want to make it more interesting each time you come back around. You want something a little different than the last time.
And the band that you mentioned, Flapjack Jones and the Bender Bros, local band, you guys have been together for some time now.
Five, almost probably 6 years in October this year. So.
What's being in that kind of band, and I mean, you do solo work as well, and we're hearing this today. But what is the big difference that you find between being in a band versus some of the solo stuff?
Well, being in a band is probably my favorite experience as far as playing music is concerned. And when it's with, 5 other people that have been your best friends for, a long time.
Yeah.
Some of them really long time. Creating something out of thin air together is like just such a neat thing to me. We're all kind of throwing in different things in the recipe and cooking this thing. And that is one of my favorite parts. And another part I really enjoy is the improv that happens when one guy does something and you look at him like, what? And now it makes me want to do something, and it just does that kind of chain reaction. So I think I really enjoyed doing the band thing just because it's so much more creativity than what I can just come up with by myself,
So if people are watching this, they see Dylan Madar, man, that guy can really play. I'm going to go look at some of his other stuff. I want to find some other stuff of his. Where can people go for a more of a sampling of your work?
Well, you can definitely find the Flapjack stuff on like Spotify and Apple Music and all those things. There's a lot of videos on YouTube from our band, previous bands, all things like that. And another side of my work is over at BCR. You can come talk to me and hang out, and right across the river here, little guitar store, and that's where I spend most of my time. So either you can go to any of those websites, any of those social medias. You can go pretty much anywhere. I've got something somewhere. You know what I mean?
All right.
With all aspects of the guitar, and not just the performing of it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Dylan Madar, our guest on Studio Sessions on Channel 20, about to take us home. Dylan, thank you.
Thank you, Matt.